Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Zarina. Right now I'm doing a March TBR, even though this video is gonna go up around like the half of March, but it's fine. I'm doing this in the beginning of March just to keep myself accountable because I have certain books that I want to read and I have a goal that I want to reach by the end of the year. If you've seen my previous book related video, you know that I only read one book in February. I need to be reading at least 10-ish books a month. I know it's not about the numbers, but I just want to have a goal and set a goal and reach that goal, you know? Anyway, so this month I have 15 books in the plans. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to all of them, but I will do my best. Three of which are here. I'll just get right into it. I have The Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, and I love Alice Feeney. All of her books I loved except for one, and it's not like that I disliked it, it's just it wasn't up to the other book standard, like what I expected from her. And you know, not every work will be your best, so it's fine. And as this is her latest work, this came out like really recently, I'm expecting to be blown away. Next book is Gleanings. This is, according to the library and the Goodreads, it's book 3.5 in the Arc of Sight series. I thought this was book number 0, but anyway, we'll see. I'll read and see. I am so excited to jump back into this universe. I really love it. I want to actually reread the whole series and do a like deep dive, but if I like some book and like, I don't know how to talk about a book without spoilers. Like, if I can't tell you like, oh my god, look at this sentence, this is so beautiful, and it will definitely be a spoiler. I guess I need to do a little bit of research to see how I can talk about books that I love without giving spoilers, because I do want other people to read them, but I don't want to spoil the book. If I hate the book, I will give all the spoilers. I don't really care. Obviously I will have the spoilers on the title, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you don't watch the video, but if you're watching, you don't care. So the next book we have is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I have watched Hunger Game trilogy and the other movie, this movie, multiple times. I love this universe. The first trilogy I read in January, and all of them were 5 stars, obviously. I've never read them before. I only watched the movies, and now this is the first time that I'm gonna be reading this. I want to read Haymitch's story before watching the movie. I actually planned to read this before watching the movie, but I just couldn't wait. I just wanted to get into that, and yeah. So I'll be reading this month. These are the physical books that I have with me, and I will start talking about the audiobooks and the graphic novels that I have in my on my TBR. Luna. Okay, I'll start with this month's graphic novel. I have a goal to read at least one graphic novel each month. I didn't do that in January because it's a fairly new goal that I set for myself. And one of the other goals that I have is that I want to read classic novels. Again, I'm fairly new to reading. This is my 3rd year reading, so I feel like I'm ready to dip my toes into classics. This month I am reading The Ghost Keeper by Joanna Taylor. I'm at like 10% so far. I love it. The story is okay so far. Like, it is just the beginning, so I can't tell much about the story, but art style, I love the coloring, I love the style itself. Not the humans, actually, not really, but I don't hate it. Okay, I don't dislike it, I like it. And so far I would say my most favorite art style, in terms of style, when it comes to graphic novels, has been Elle's and Mercy, but they are like 2 different sides of the style. This is like, Elle is like the Disneyest Disney, and Mercy is like dark, spooky, and this one is like it's talking about ghosts, but also it is cute to look at, so it's like it makes sense for what it is. I love background, like the art style of the background the most, more than the character style. It is not a thing that I would put the book down for, so yeah, I will continue reading that. For the classic, this month I want to read Fahrenheit 451. This has been on my list for like over a year now. This month is the time that I will be reading it. I got the audiobook from Libby for this one again. It's like 6 hours. I'll be done in no time. I am excited. Like, I love listening to or reading dystopian worlds. As you can tell, like Hunger Games and Ark of a Scythe are my favorite trilogies, and I can't wait to add more into my sci-fi favorites collection so far. And then I started following this girl on Instagram, and she shares these books. After seeing some of the highlights from the books and some of my other favorite books being on that list, I decided to check most of the books that she suggested. I got The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. I have been listening to this. I am at 65%. This is like one of those good for her tropes so far. This gives me Atessa Mashfaq vibes. Like, the main character is not a good person. You know that what they're doing is not the right thing, but at the same time you see where they're coming from, you know, and people around her being even bigger assholes than the main character is like, okay, they deserve this. But not really, not in a real world sense, but in it's fiction. Okay, so far I don't agree with good for her part, but also, like, we'll see what happens in the last 35% of the book. And one of the other books that Instagram account that I will put on my screen, she suggested is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. I have not read any synopsis for this book. I don't know what it is gonna be about. Because of the other books that I like that she shared, I will trust in her recommendations, and I will just simply start reading this book. Just as a side note, I go into even though I don't read the synopsis, I go into every book with an open mind. Like, even if I don't like the story or the tone of voice in the beginning, I will still keep going with the thing just to see where it's going. One of the books that I stopped at the very beginning was Mexican Gothic. I just didn't like how it was written, and I don't even rate them, and I don't tell people to not read or not listen to the book if I didn't get enough into it. All this to say is that even though going in, I don't know what story is about, I will still have an open mind, and I do that with the romance novels as well. Like, I go in knowing that I don't really like all the romance. Like, for me to like a romance novel, for me to like a romance novels, it has to have more than a romance, you know. And I'm not saying this to sound like, oh, I don't read romance, therefore I'm better than you. I don't think like that. As I said, it needs to have more than simple romance storyline for me to be interested in it, which leads me into my next book, which is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is the last book that I haven't read from her, so I'm reading it right now, and I'm like halfway done-ish, something like that, or 30%. And so far, I just want to say that it's not my favorite work from her. So I read Happy Place first, and then Book Lovers, and then Funny Story. And Happy Place and Funny Story is my favorite. Book Lovers is like fine, and then I read People We Meet on Vacation. I feel like her books are getting better and better, so the old works by her are not the thing that I really love, when it comes to romance or contemporary romance. So it's fine. Like I turn off the Emily Henry effect that I'm expecting when I am reading her old works. I just know for sure it's not gonna be a 5 stars. Let's just hope that it's not gonna be 3 stars either. I'll stay at 4. We'll see. This month I actually started. I am doing a reread of Tender is the Flesh because I read that last year and it's been like on my mind this whole time. When I finished the book, I gave it 4 stars, or maybe I read it not last year. I read it like 2 years ago. I'll put the date on the screen. When I finished it, I gave it 4 stars. But as the time went by, I started loving I like it. That book wouldn't leave my mind. Like I would be thinking about that book, that world all the time. And so I'm like, oh, this book actually deserves a 5 star. But yeah, I wanted to do a reread because I love it so much. Yeah, I just want to talk about that book because I feel like it doesn't get enough recognition. In my opinion, it's just amazing world building. I will talk more about that book in the future. I feel like I need to make a whole separate dedicated video for that book itself. So yeah, wait for that. Luna likes to go in the closet, that's why it was open. The next 2 books are by Frida McFadden. I have The Crash and Wanna Know a Secret from her. I always say this in my every video that I have Frida McFadden. I love her work. It's like turn off your brain, just no thoughts, just vibes, and sometimes that is all you want from a book. Also, we have Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. You may know that I am a huge fan of Caraval series. Not really the fan of Once Upon a Broken Heart. I haven't even read the next 2 books in that trilogy, but I love Caraval. And when I saw that there's a novella in the Caraval series, I need to get back into that universe. For the next 3 books, I have Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I've been hearing about Leigh Bardugo this whole 3 years of me being in the book community, and there was the Six of Crows that I wanted to read because the cover is so beautiful and the whatever I heard about the book sounds so interesting. But before you get into that, you need to be reading the other things. And people did say that you don't have to read them. I feel like I would like to go in a like actual chronological order, so I will start reading the first book according to the internet. So there's Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. So these 3 books you need to be reading first, and then you get to Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Both of these, like Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, like look at these covers. Look at these covers. They are so beautiful. I would rather read all of it, and if I don't like the writing style, I'll just stop. Nobody's forcing me to read everything. This is all for my March TBR. I feel like I can do all 15, but I may not be able to. If I actually put aside the time to get to all of them, I will be able to, but you know, things happen, and if I do at least like half of it, I'll be happy. But yeah. And that's it for my TBR for March. And go follow me on Instagram. If I'm not here, I'm there all the time. So yeah, go follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.